Hi Bhaskar.
Hi.
Our batchmates are meeting later this week, getting together at Vegas.
Yeah, I know that. In fact, I wanted to go, but it was not feasible this time.
Yeah, and so actually Nag and I felt, it's been nearly 2 years since you've been the director, and there's a lot that's been going on. I mean, we've been meeting and you've been telling me about a lot of things that are going on, and I thought it'd be good for you to share, a lot of the initiatives. It seems to me that a lot of cylinders are firing now, that were not always in play before. Okay, so could you talk about some of the initiatives and some of the vision that you've been, that's been unfolding over the last couple of years?
Okay. So, first, hi guys. I would have really loved to be there. Looks like we are all getting together in a great place, but somehow the timing wasn't suitable this time. But with technology like this, I think we can try to take the next best option, which is to speak to you through a recording. So as Senthil said, we are going through, I would say, several major transitions in India and within India in the IIT system and within IIT system at IIT Madras. And I'll just quickly sort of give you a picture of the most important ones so that you have some idea of what's happening to the place where, most of us grew up from being, kids to men. So let me start with what we all were, which is BTech students. So one thing that has happened, of course, as you all know, is that the BTech intake every year has gone up to 850. If you include the 50 students we taken into the humanities program, it's 850 now. And obviously, it's sort of that, many of you have gone to US schools and you know what it is, right? It's becoming more like the big undergraduate US, though the numbers are smaller, but in absolute numbers, but the atmosphere is becoming like the big US, undergraduate school, not like the sort of specialized Caltech kind of place that we went to. Okay, so one of the things we did few years ago, 3-4 years ago, and now kicked in, is to say that, okay, we know that only a fraction of these students are really serious about engineering, because people come into IIT because it's IIT. It's not everybody is serious about engineering. So what we've done is created an honors program. And it's a very tough honors program. At the end of second year, if you have a CGPA of 8.5 or above, you can opt to get into the honors program. You opt to essentially do a lot more credits, at least another 12 credits. And you also take on the challenge of maintaining that CGPA every semester. If you drop below 8.5, you're out of the honors program. Okay, it's a moving target, in other words. And the first batch for which it kicked in was last year. About 150 students opted to get into the program, and they have maintained it. Over 1 year, they've all done very well. So these are the guys who are really interested in engineering, probably want to go on to higher studies, research, and so on. So that's one thing we've done, and the rest are there. Everybody's like us. Everybody's having fun. Everybody's growing in their own way. People are learning as usual, more outside the class than inside the class. All of that is going on, but it's a big 850 student batch. It's not homogeneous anymore. There are people with all kinds of backgrounds, many people from rural backgrounds, many people from first generation learner family backgrounds. It's quite different in that way. And so to tell you honestly, even I don't have a very deep picture of what really makes these people tick. We are trying to learn more about the changing demographics and the changing social profiles and so on. It's changing very fast on us, but nevertheless, we have moved to make sure that the crown jewel of the IIT system, which is the students who really are focused and who get out with a degree from here, already ready to do a PhD. That part of it is still protected. That's something we are doing through the honors program. We have, of course, given the numbers, we have also moved a lot to improve the infrastructure. The infrastructure construction always takes a little longer than we think, but it's happening. Better sports facilities, better swimming pool, more hostels. All of that is happening. And if you visit here, you will see the difference. Okay, and we did that. We are doing that while still maintaining the green character of the campus and so on. Mainly by going with high-rise buildings. That's the only. There's no magic in this. We have to do it that way.
Yeah, Bhaskar, one thing that's will be of a lot of interest to classmates who have not heard about it is the internationalization that you're trying to bring in.
So of course, our BTech students, invariably one way or the other, a large number will end up getting a chance to go other parts of the world and learn from others, and go to other universities or work in other foreign companies and so on. But one of the things we have started working on very seriously is that is to actually increase the two-way flow of PhD students and faculty from here to universities all over the world. Many of you may not be aware that the PhD population of the institute has grown up tremendously. We have now 1,800 PhD students on campus and another 1,000 masters by research. So the research scholar population is touching nearly 3,000, and that's almost 30% of the student population. This is something which has happened in the last the growth is almost student population has been doubling every 5 years in this sector, and these students they benefit tremendously by going and spending a semester or so in some other lab somewhere where their supervisors are collaborating. And we are also increasingly getting international students to come here as exchange scholars. We still don't have a program by which international students can register here for a degree in large numbers. I think the government isn't quite ready for that yet. But exchange is completely within our purview, and at any given time you'll find about 80 to 100 students on the IIT campus. A good number of them are spending from all over the world, and of course Europe dominates, and a good number of them spend about a semester here at least. And we hope to increase that number, at least double that in the next 2-3 years, and similarly send our students all over to labs all over the world.
Yeah. I think one thing of note to our batch is that our batch has provided the seed funding for a lot of the travel. For this.
Yes. So in order to enable this, we're able to take care of a lot of things. We usually have a quid pro quo arrangement with the collaborating university on support of the students who go from here, and our supporting their students when they come here. What we really don't have is the funding to support the travel of the student, and that's not permitted from the government funds that we get, and that's where our batch donation has helped a lot, and now more and more alumni are pitching into this.
Actually, we're funding some faculty travel also.
Yes, and so faculty travel, some amount of it is supported by the institute, by the institute, but usually that's only for conferences and if you have a paper to present and so on. But some of the faculty travel that is required is to actually set up the collaborations, to explore, and those kind of exploratory visits are being funded by the alumni.
Yeah. These days, there's a lot of talk about the rankings, and IIT doesn't come off too well on the rankings. Can you just give your perspective?
Exactly. See, one of the things is, IITs are ranked both as a university and as a institution of for science and technology. The reason we get ranked as a university is because we do have humanities, and they look at all the departments that you have. If you have humanities, if you have maths, science, and if you have engineering and so on, and management, then they say you're a university. As a university, most of the IITs come in the 200, 250 kind of range. But in the science and technology rankings, most of the IITs are between 50 and 65, 70, that kind of thing. We are at 62 or 63 last year, I think. And which is, to start off, not too bad. But I think there is a lot of scope here to get up to at least another 20, 30 notches. Then if you look at the names after that, you will understand that it's quite difficult, because it involves a complete, you'll have to change into a mode where you hire faculty, star faculty with big salaries, and those kind of strategies which we are not ready to do yet. Also, it requires internationalization. There's a fair amount of points for having a large number of international students registered for degrees, and also international faculty. So we will lose some points on those. But given all that, I think by just focusing on our research, that ranking is, by the way, done mostly on the basis of research. They don't look at the undergraduate students. So in fact, we get probably very high quality undergraduate students in here, but they don't look at that. They also don't look at what you do for the country in terms of industry or even in defense and other things. So those things in which IITs are doing a lot are not getting measured at all. But nevertheless, I think there is scope definitely for getting into the 30s and 40s.
So how is the connection with the industry going on, and how deeply engaged is our research with industry?
So I think currently, something like 200 out of the 500 odd faculty, 520, 30 faculty are working with industry. And increasingly, industry is funding research, not just consulting, taking the help of a faculty member to assess a technology or to verify a design. That also goes on. But there's increasingly a lot of research projects, 1 year, 2 year projects to develop a product, a process or prototype and so on. That's coming. And of course, the maximum traction is in industries which are doing very well in India in terms of both the scale as well as the level of technology, and that is automotive industry is one, pharma is another, and certain industries which are, I mean, certain industrial groups which are in every place, almost everything under the sun, like GE, they tap a lot into IITs, and now another major global company called Saint-Gobain is doing the same thing. So, and their collaborations with faculty cover a wide range, all the way from materials to coatings to, algorithms to, new manufacturing processes. So, the whole lot of things across which they tap into faculty here. And in the Indian industry or homegrown industry, I would say the auto industry is probably fairly ahead in this. Many of them are developing products of their own. Many of them are, improving, trying not to trying to go less and less to buy technology from elsewhere, or even to go to institutions abroad like Fraunhofer institutes to get to get their technology. They are trying more and more to do it on their own or with the IITs, and we are partnering with them quite a bit in this.
So in this context, how successful has the research park been?
Yeah, so the research park, as some of you may know, right next to behind Mandakini, on a piece of land about 12 acres in size, we set up the first building of the research park about 4 years ago, where there are about 50 companies who have their research divisions, including companies like Caterpillar and all the way down to companies that have been incubated by our faculty and students. These companies do their research there, but the only reason they are there is because they are collaborating with IIT on that research. In fact, we have a measure of their level of collaboration, and the contractual agreement with these companies to remain in the research park includes a requirement to attain a certain amount of collaboration with the IIT on an ongoing basis. So that's going very well. A lot of the faculty here are working with those companies, and students are also working with them to develop new products, new IP, and so on. Now, it's gone so well that our first tower is completely full, and there's so much interest from other companies to come in that we are now set in motion the process of completing the entire project, which is to add another equivalent of 2 more buildings, but actually it's coming up as 4 smaller buildings. Total area of about 1.5 million square feet, and the rest of it is getting constructed in the next 18 months. And to give you just one example, I mentioned Saint-Gobain a little while ago. They are setting up their India Research Center right in that the new buildings, about 120,000 square feet. This is all hard science. This is materials, manufacturing, coatings, glass. This is not soft stuff. And they are setting up all their required furnaces, measuring equipment, all kinds of sophisticated labs. Of course, they already work with about 20 odd faculty in the institute. So this is the kind, to give you a flavor of the kind of thing that is emerging now.
Yeah, and talking about research park, the next thing that comes is incubation. You talked about faculties and students starting up companies. So how the initiatives are? You've always been involved with incubating companies all through your career.
That's a good topic for the two of us, because as you know, Senthil has been incubating companies in India, and some of us as faculty have been helping. I've worked with him also over the years, but I've also worked with many other students, and along with Ashok Junjunwala and others. So now, in all, I think IIT has incubated about 50 companies till date, but I think we probably end up seeing another 50 companies in the next 4 years. And we have set up an incubation cell, and people like Senthil are all part of that, helping us from the outside. They spend a lot of time now, actually. So maybe it's better to call them now, they're from the inside. And we have, of course, many faculty who are involved in driving this. And we are seeing now interest from both faculty, the younger faculty, and in students in setting up companies. The institute has come up with a fairly liberal policy to enable this, to maximize, give as much leeway as possible to faculty and students to do this while they continue with their other responsibilities. The research park is the place where these entities are actually set up after the initial phase, maybe within the institute, and they can operate from there. They get a lot of support. They really have to worry only about their core function. The rest of it, we are trying to set up a full ecosystem, legal, accounting, everything, so that they don't have to worry about all this. And then, of course, the networking among themselves, and a lot of alumni are being reached out to both in the US and in India. Some of you may know about it, to enable not only to do mentoring but also to provide connections. We are also looking at even sending some of the young students here who are beginning to think of entrepreneurship for internships in startups in the Bay Area and so on, so that they can learn. Because one thing is, India lacks the ecosystem. You can think of where industry was 20 years ago or 25 years ago. That's where incubation is in terms of the ecosystem. Today, if you go to a good auto company with the research division of the auto company in Chennai, you're probably quite happy. I mean, it may not be very different from what you might see in Detroit. but that was not the case 20 years ago. I think in terms of incubation ecosystem, we are probably in the same situation. So it will be very important for us, young students who are interested in this, to be able to go and see what it is like in the Bay Area. And we are trying to get alumni to help in that, and so that's really what's going on.
I had one last topic of great interest, and you talk about Stanford open courses, MIT open courses. So what are the IITs doing to provide such open courses for tailored to Indian engineering students?
Right. So that nearly 8 years ago, the IIT started a program called NPTEL together, along with IISc and all the IITs together. And at that time, what was the big deal was to just record high quality courses, full courses, 40 lectures, video or web based, and with all the support material, all 4 quadrants as you call it, the exercises, the solutions and all of that, and put it all up. And MIT OpenCourseWare and all of these people did a little bit of that, a few courses, tens of courses you find there. But NPTEL actually is by come September there'll be 900 of them, and this cover all the branches of engineering. All the video courses are on YouTube. They're available to everybody all over the world. It's for what the way it's been done, it of course works with motivated students. If you're really motivated, I think you can find the best quality lectures on any topic there. And we are finding that motivated students are using it very well. In fact, we have done there have been people who have done studies of who's using it for what, and it's very clear that students who miss the IIT bus, who are very keen to get into the MTech programs in the IIT, are using this in a very big way. And for almost all the people who are attempting IIT to get into IIT at the MTech level seriously are using this. It's also being used in industry. I found out very quietly, people, because it's free, you just have to pay for the media. People in industries like TVS Group and all have been buying this and using this internally for their upgradation. No, they just pick and choose. But we all know, and especially after the learnings of the last few years, starting with Khan Academy and what Coursera has done and others have done, we all know that there's a lot of churn in this. We are learning how this pedagogy works. We are learning that you should do it differently with small segments and interactive quizzes and so on. And now we are getting into the phase in NPTEL where we are going to launch in a big way in the next few years MOOCs, and also we are trying to see how we can intervene to fill the gap in engineering education in colleges which are striving to do this in India. As you know, there are 4,000 colleges. Not all of them are in it for the right reasons, but there are many who are in it for the right reasons and who are striving. We want to help them. And so we are, I don't have time to get into the details, but we are really working on this to see how we can intervene to provide them the best possible material in the right form, including all things like automatic grading of assignments and so on. So we are quite aware of what's going on in edX, in Coursera and so on. We are in fact even discussing in discussions with edX. We are also working with Google on this. So there is going to be a lot of action on this front, and also the business of making sure that Indian students can get tablets and so on at the right, of the right specifications at a very good price. This effort is also going on, being driven by Madras IIT now for the next generation Akash tablet. And so I think you will see a lot of good stuff coming out in this sector in the next 2-3 years. It won't be just IIT Madras, but we play a fairly big role.
Yeah, I think you've covered a lot in a few minutes now, and I think you've covered a lot in 2 years in IIT, and I think all of us really hope you will continue for a long time and take IIT to great heights.
Let me end by mentioning one thing which is important to our batch, and that is I want to just point out to you the number of our batchmates who are in some fashion working very closely in or with IIT. I want to enumerate and list them. Just as faculty, we have now, apart from myself, we have Devdas Menon, and Devdas is doing fantastic work. I don't know if you've seen this. He and Mayor Prasad have put up this, come up with this. Worked 8 years and developed this affordable housing technology for which a demo house was built on the IIT campus in a flat 30-day period. And it's becoming very, very attractive. A lot of very big companies are looking at getting into this, providing the raw material, providing the prefab panels and so on. And we are very hopeful that this technology will make a big difference. And then we have, our Major, GMK Raju. He is now spending half of his time on campus. We have created an IP cell that's looking at, we are supporting our faculty in a very big way now in filing for patents where it makes sense, and also to commercialize their technology. So he's working 50% in this, heading the cell that is trying to do this. Senthil is very active in the incubation cell that we have set up. And one of our classmates, Sundaram, has been on the staff of our Industrial Consulting and Scientific Research Center for many years. He's the chief, just working for the dean there, and he's sort of the main guy who runs the place, over the years. Who else is there? I'm trying to remember. I think this is that it, Nag? Yeah, this is sort of it. So, a whole lot of people, and I think a lot of our alumni, batchmates who are faculty in US universities are also helping in establishing this collaboration. So I think in that sense, I just want to share with you that, there's one last one, and that is just coming up. I don't know how many of you are aware that Muilan, apart from, has his feet in the US and in India, and in Chennai, he runs, he's growing very quickly his bakery outfit. And it turned out that completely on his own, with no involvement from my side, he's just won the bid to have a bakery shop in our shopping center. So you'll see more. Next time you come to campus, make sure you drop into his shop and see what he has there. Okay, so I think with that, I want to wish all of you a fantastic time on the 4th, and my mind will be there. But hopefully next time you guys get together, I'll join you. Thank you, Senthil. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhaskar.